What is going on, football family? We are back with another film session, and today we're diving into Carson Schwesinger's tape, who caught my attention after Dane Brugler highlighted him on his board. So shout out to him. But after seeing all the hype, I had to check it out for myself. And let me tell you, this player absolutely delivers. So let's break it all down to see what makes him special. So when you're taking a look at Carson Schwesinger, you've got a player that stands at 6'2" and weighs around 235 pounds. With great instincts and a modern NFL linebacker profile. He was an unranked high school recruit who walked on to UCLA, but his journey has been impressive. After redshirting his true freshman season in 2021, he got some action on special teams, and he stepped into the starting position in 2024. In just 12 games for UCLA, he dominated, earning AP first-team All-American honors, leading the Big Ten with 136 tackles, and becoming the Buckets Award finalist. This is definitely a player who can make some serious noise at the next level. So on this play here, Carson demonstrates his ability to sniff out quick screens, consistently positioning himself perfectly to close on the ball. What really stands out about him is his tackling ability. Whether he's going for the ankles or wrapping up high, he's got a natural knack for bringing players down. This kind of reliable tackling is exactly what NFL teams are looking for. So activating the system. So locking in on this play here, just watching Carson Schwesinger, reading the screen, and firing off on the ball. And the good thing about Carson, once he sees the play, he can be able to put himself in position to make the key tackle. And playing that linebacker position is not only what you can be able to do on one play, can you consistently go out there and make key stops? Whether if it's in coverage, scraping and roaming sideline to sideline, or dissecting these screenplays. And he is arguably one of the smartest linebackers coming out of this draft class. He's not one of those linebackers that you can be able to fool. So if he does see it, his aggression and his athletic ability takes over. So seeing him getting into position and reading that screenplay and making a stop was great to see by the young linebacker. Not only just jailbreak screens, but he can be effective stopping screens with these running backs. So watching the patience from Carson and closing on the ball again. And when you do make these kind of plays, they can be absolutely game-changing. This is how you can be able to separate yourself from all the linebackers in this draft class. And when linebackers do make these type of plays consistently, this is how they stay on the field. Because there are linebackers in the NFL, once they see those jailbreak screens or regular screens with running backs, sometimes they can get lost in the crowd. They're not putting themselves in the right position to angle to stop these ball carriers. So it's good to see that this player has the patience and the IQ to be able to stop these screen plays because it will be needed once he gets to the next level. Throughout his career at UCLA, Carson has shown excellent ability to blitz through A and B gaps. What stands out is his knack for being able to get small, slithering through the line, and getting his hands on the quarterback for sacks, an invaluable bonus for a linebacker. So we're going to split it. So zooming in on Carson, just watching him stepping up and lurking, and looking at number 65, he strikes him with one arm, but he was able to torque his body and still get inside. And he's that type of player that you have to account for him, because if not, he has enough athletic ability to get his hands on the quarterback. And that's exactly what he did on this rep. Having 4 sacks throughout this season and multiple pressures, this is what forces these quarterbacks to make mistakes. And playing quarterback in the NFL, it's hard to be able to get away from those edge rushers. But when you have a player that's coming straight at you like these linebackers and these defensive tackles, it is so hard to be able to get away from that. So this kind of interior pressure is everything when it comes down to the front seven. Finding ways to be able to get slippery, close in, and lay a body on the quarterback. So that's easy work when it comes down to a player like Schwesinger. You have to be able to account for this kind of athlete, especially when it looks like he's lurking in between that interior. So his ability to be able to blitz effectively on top of being able to get pressure on a quarterback, that is another skill set that he can bring to an NFL team. Here's another sack play here. Got to bring more receipts when it comes down to the JC film sessions. Just seeing him just storm off the ball, evade that offensive lineman, and get his hands on the quarterback. And he was making these plays all throughout this entire game, completely terrorizing his team. But what's going to separate this player once he gets to the NFL is, can he consistently do this week in and week out? And by seeing him all throughout this season and studying his film, I think that he has what it takes, on top of being a leader on and off the field. One thing I do look for in the linebacker is how physical they are when battling linemen in the trenches. While he didn't make the tackle on this rep, his physicality and ability to clog lanes forced the running back to hesitate before choosing to hold. And this delay allowed another defender to make the play, showing that every rep matters when it comes down to football, and you need to play hard through the whistle, even when you're not near the ball. So we go ahead and run it. So looking at this play here, you see that he's creeping and he's engaging in contact. And the thing is, with this type of player, you can just see the fight when it comes down to Carson Schwesinger. Sometimes you got to battle it out when it comes down to these players, but these are things that we have to watch when it comes down to linebackers. And you see that running back there, he's hesitating because looking at that hole, it is all clogged up. He's right there still fighting that offensive lineman, and it was enough time for the defender to go out there and make that tackle. And this is what you want when it comes down to that linebacker position. The thing is, you're not going to be the guy that's going to always make the play. Can you be physical at the point of attack? And sometimes it can end up being a positive domino effect for everybody on the defense. So not only could this player read and diagnose plays and roam sideline to sideline, but you see the physicality on that offensive line. And these NFL teams, they love that. If you have these linebackers playing soft out there, it could be a weak link for the entire defense. But seeing the physicality, the toughness, and letting that offensive lineman know that it would not be easy, regardless if it's a linebacker, it was great to see by Carson Schwesinger, bringing that heat and setting the tone. So with a player like Carson Schwesinger is not going to be perfect when it comes down to this prospect. He does make his big-time splash plays, but you'll see him get caught into blocks at times, being overly aggressive and trying to play that hero ball. And usually when you do play that hero ball, you can quickly get washed out of plays, and that is not good when it comes down to the NFL. Because if that happens consistently when you get to the league, that can get you benched. But he wasn't making a lot of bad plays with UCLA this year, but I wanted to point this out to you guys. But there are reps where he tends to be overly aggressive, so patience is key. You're going to be lining up with a lot of top-notch athletes on defense in the NFL, so there will be some reps where other players are going to have to make plays. But more times than not, he's going out there and putting himself in the right position to make key stops. But no player is perfect when it comes down to any NFL draft. You got to find out what this player needs to work on so he can be able to take that next step. But it's good to see that he's a high motor player, giving his all on every rep, but there's always room for improvement. Having good vision and lateral movement at the linebacker position is essential. Watch this play where Carson quickly reads the run and hops into the run lane and make the shoestring tackle. These type of plays are why he was a finalist for the Buckets Award. So we're going to spin it. So locking on this play here, just watching the movements from Schwesinger. He knows the running back's getting the ball. He's a fast thinker, and he quickly hops into the next lane. And just seeing his movements, there are some NFL players that's not doing this right now. This is why I have to be able to point this out so you guys can be able to see it. And grabbing him by his ankles is always good as long as you get this player down. But you can just tell that he has a nose for the football. He loves to go out there and get busy. And usually with me, I'm not the comparison type of guy, but I did read some articles about them comparing him to Sean Lee. And that is fireworks because we all know the type of physical player he was, the IQ, on top of being a leader on the field. But hopping into a run lane to get the stop is something that you usually don't see when it comes down to linebackers. And drafting a guy like Schwesinger, this is what you get when it comes down to this athlete, on top of having a skill set to play special teams if needed. So on this final play here, we see another high IQ read and his ability to squeeze the run lane for a tackle for loss. It's great to see Carson making a name for himself, consistently making these plays throughout his career. So let's run it. So running this play here, just watching him over that center, playing that middle linebacker position. I honestly think he can play middle or weak side linebacker, but just seeing him slice right in between the gridiron and going out there, putting himself in position and thumping that running back, getting in on that action. And this is why we love to be able to break this down when it comes down to film, because these are the things that you usually don't see when it comes down to YouTube or a lot of these videos out there. You got to slow it down, bring it close to see these players' tendencies. Can this player go out there and get small? Can he read and diagnose plays? All of that, I believe that a guy like Carson Schwesinger brings to any NFL team that drafts him. Whether if it's playing the Mike linebacker position, will linebacker position, or playing special teams, I think that you can be able to put this guy on the field and he can go out there and make some big time plays because the film never lies, football family. So it's going to be good to see how it all plays out with this linebacker. I think that he can pretty much do everything on the field. It's not going to be perfect with him. There will be times where he's going to play that hero ball, but he's going to have to calm it down, be patient, and understand what these offenses is trying to do and not get washed out of plays. But seeing this player being a leader on and off the field throughout the season, he was one of the guys that everybody depended on as far as that defense. And it's so funny because a few of his teammates called him Sunshine. You can see it in his hair, but he got to bring that dog mentality when it comes down to the field. But seeing him through film, I think he can go out there and make some noise. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about Carson Schwesinger, and let me know all of the prospects that y'all want me to break down exactly how I did in this video. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire live streams and the best Cowboys film sessions on YouTube. All right, football family. Talk to y'all soon. Gone.